What's going on, YouTube? Picked up 10 of these buffaloes today. I wanted a 10-ounce bar or two. My LCS usually has them. Actually, almost always has them. And I was surprised today that he didn't. So I just picked up 10 of these. Figured it'd go easy. I did buy a 357 the other day, so you know, that was $400. So that's not what I want to talk about, though. I want to talk about a video I saw. I want to talk about the difference between ETFs, SLV. Not really going to get into PSLV, but mainly SLV, GLD, things of that nature, versus physical. I watched a video the other day. I have my YouTubers that I follow religiously. You subscribe to me, I subscribe to you. That's just how it goes. And I have some bigger channels and some smaller channels I follow. And sometimes randomly I'll just go on YouTube and do a search for something different. And I came across a video, an investing channel which has a lot of subscribers. She seems to be very successful in her financial life as well. So I watched it. It talked about gold and silver and Bitcoin. And she gave a really fantastic monetary history lesson in the beginning, which I think is really important because most people don't know our monetary history. She didn't talk about how silver was in our coinage till 1964, which is unfortunate. But she did talk, and she didn't talk about the 1933, I believe it was, voluntary confiscation, whatever you want to call it. But she did talk about the 1971 severing of the dollar to gold and how things changed. And then she goes on to talk about, and she did a really good job with that. I was really impressed. Then she goes on to talk about different ways to get into metal. And she lists the physical, and she lists good reasons for physical, the reasons that I think most of us are in the physical market. Not a lot of faith in the dollar due to inflation and printing. She talks about trust in the banks or lack thereof as a reason to hold physical. All things I think most of us can agree on. Then she lists miners as a way to get mining stocks as a way to get exposure. Excuse me, exposure to metal. I agree. I do have some mining stocks and some junior miners. I've done well on some of them and not as well on others. But you know, to me, this is exposure to metal, right? You know, if you can't hold it, you don't own it, right? You can't touch it. And then she talks about ETFs, and she talks about SLV. She doesn't really talk about GLD, but basically the same thing. A lot of people don't understand this. I think most of us probably do, but a lot of people who hold SLV and things like GLD don't understand that they don't own physical metal. I think more people think that than a lot of people are aware of, and she didn't touch on that. And that part really bothered me. You know, she didn't talk about the fact that 3 of the major shareholders in SLV there's more than 3, but happen to be the biggest is JP Chase. I think we can all agree that when it comes to silver, we don't trust them whatsoever. All the spoofing that they've been caught doing to manipulate the markets, yeah, it's JP Morgan. Okay. B of A. Do we really need to talk about B of A? I think we're all on the same page there. And Credit Suisse. Well, look at the problems they're having. So if they're major shareholders in SLV, that doesn't give me a whole lot of confidence. I don't have a lot of confidence in those institutions. I love to hate JP Chase, just so you know, for a multitude of reasons, and their spoofing is one of them. How do I know? How do you know? How do any of us know that the physical metal they claim to have to back these quote-unquote paper ounces that they move and transfer and buy and sell, which, how's that even a thing? How do you sell a physical asset on paper? I think we can probably mostly agree that there's no way for us to know if they have as much as they say. And in the end, I don't stand as a shareholder to take physical delivery on that metal, so how much does it really matter how much they have or don't have? I mean, yes, it matters, but I don't think a lot of people understand that they just don't own that physical metal. And I think it's important when people talk about exposure to metals through ETFs. I think it's important that they include that because a lot of people, unfortunately, will invest in something they don't understand, and that's not too smart. Now, am I saying that SLV and GLD you can't turn a profit on? No, I'm not. You might make a profit, you might make a loss. It's probably going to go both ways. That's just the way it is. Am I saying you should get it or shouldn't get it? No, I'm not. I've owned some of both. I don't anymore currently. I'm playing the mining stock game as far as non-physical exposure. But when it comes to gold and silver and these assets, as far as I'm concerned, physical is just where it's at for the majority of my play. Not a financial advisor. You do your own research, form your own opinions. They have nothing to do with me. This is just for entertainment purposes only. But I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. I think it's really important to do full disclosure when we talk about things like this, and I think a lot of people don't include that. And to me, the most important thing is who's involved, and do I stand to take physical delivery? No, I don't, and that's really important to include. You buy SLV, you buy GLD with currency, and you sell it, and guess what you get back? Currency. That's just the way it is. The digits you put in are the digits that you get back when you sell. None of this. And honestly, I don't really like, also, something I don't think people talk about, I don't like the idea of any paper that can manipulate the price, and control the price of physical. I really don't personally, for my own self, want to have anything to do with that at this point in my life. It's just not where I want to be. I don't want to support that. I like to support, mining companies. I like what they do. They're pulling this out of the ground. They're working hard. That's where I'd rather put my hard-earned currency. But anyway, that's all I got today, guys. Constitutional Stacker. Appreciate your guys' time. Appreciate the support. And God, I love that sound. You guys like that sound? Sounds like money. Anyway, Constitutional Stacker, keep stacking.